Hello, good evening and welcome to Prime Business with me, Emma Davis. I look at our stories as barely 24 hours to the 2024 budget presentation. Economist Professor Ebo Texin is urging government to use the 2024 budget to maintain the economic recovery being witnessed in the country by reviewing some taxes to support the private sector. According to him, that is the surest way to sustain the current economic trajectory. Already, the business community is asking for a reduction in taxes as well as congenial environment to operate in. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Texan said the budget must inspire hope to the private sector.
To also take a look at expenditure, another fund program, of course, there's a cap on public sector employment, which is fine. But we also need to ask ourselves if government should go on subverting certain agencies under the public sector when these agencies can be allowed to run on their own. I've mentioned that is it possible for tertiary institutions to charge some appreciable fees for, as we speak, students at a tertiary level in public universities pay 1,700 cedis a term, a year, for their tertiary school fees. Is it possible to increase that a bit so that the subventions that come from government to the universities can reduce a bit so that we can free some fiscal space of the public sector employees' wages? These are all ways in which we can reduce our expenditure and ensure our revenue so that we can enjoy some fiscal consolidation and some space for capital expenditure. Don't forget that we need the economy to expand. We need to provide support to the private sector. And I expect this budget to announce some new relief for the private sector, saying they should be the focus of all agenda that we have towards growth. And as we speak, we know the business environment, the cost of doing business in this country, the taxes are a lot. And these are the sort of things that we hear the finance minister announce. I expect also that being an election year and under a fund program, the fund will keep its tabs on the government's financing of election promises and what we call the manifesto promises. I expect that there will be a tap on that. There is no reason why we need to sacrifice the recovery that we've made so far ever since we went to the fund for support last year.
A little longer on the budget, as panel members of the University of Professional Studies Pre-Budget Dialogue Series have advised governments to employ strategic measures to broaden the country's tax net. They have also appealed to government to rationalize its expenditure to stabilize the economy. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedua-Boaje, was part of the panel and questioned government's inability to pay its loans despite the numerous taxes imposed on businesses.
Ahead of the presentation of the 2024 budget, the business community is calling for the removal and reduction of some taxes, such as the COVID-19 levy and the VAT. According to the business community, these taxes are negatively affecting the operations. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedua-Boaje, said government is generating enough revenue from taxes and should be able to pay its loans.
It's not about increasing taxes or introducing new ones. It's about how effective you are in collecting those taxes. So I think that we have enough taxes as at now, and we don't expect any other tax from the 2024 budget. What we expect that they should look at the expenditure side. If IMF asks a typical question, you have budget deficit. How do you intend to reduce that budget deficit? There are countries with high debt to GDP, the US and the Koreans. The issue is your ability to pay for the money that you have borrowed. And that also depends on what you invested or how you invested the money you have borrowed. We have consistently been going to the Eurobond market, borrowing at a commercial rate and using it to finance consumption. Where are you going to get the revenue to pay back the loan? Go and check our loan structure, Ghana, and you realize that you have borrowed at commercial rate. When you borrow, it's like a business. You borrow and you expect that you pay. You invest in areas where you will generate revenue to be able to pay back your loan.
Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni, called on government to address rigidities in the processing, manufacturing and agricultural sector.
Generally, we are dependent on rainfall for a large portion of the production of our crops. And a country that has no control over its water resource in terms of its food supply is a country that is at a great threat for food insecurity, food security. So clearly the government must look at how we can be able to enhance our water resources, improve our irrigation system, even if it has to do with boreholes here and there and all that. And that is very, very good that the government earlier on talked about the one village, one dam thing. It is something that has to really be looked at again and be enforced and ensure that our irrigation system is well improved upon. Then again, the rigidities in the area of processing. Processing is a very major factor in our agricultural process. So if you go and produce a product and then it is not well processed, for instance, in this country we deal with long grain rice. So if you don't have good quality processing machines that will be able to process the rice, separate the broken rice from the long grain, and then grade it well and get it for international standards.
Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit, urged government to be accountable and engage in prudent spending.
We are saying that the 1% COVID levy should go off. We are saying that the 2% import levy should go off by law. It is not Asaka who's saying it. By law, COVID is no more a pandemic in this country, so it has to go off. By law, the 2% import levy by law is supposed to go off since 2017. That is what we expect. We do not expect to see any additional layer of tax tomorrow budget. That one I can tell you. I'm told that in the process of the meeting, the inflation has dropped. As yesterday we had discussed about 38.1. I'm told now it is 33% or so. But has it still reflect on our packet? No, absolutely no. And so they cannot use that 33% to tomorrow to say we should clap hands or we should applaud the government. I don't think so. Government promised that they were going to cut down 30% of government appointees' revenue. Where is it? How much has it been realized? Where have they spent? What project did they use it on?
The pre-budget dialogue series was organized by the Faculty of Accounting and Finance of the University of Professional Studies.
Inflation for the month of October 2023 has dropped to 35.2% from the 38.1% recorded in September 2023. Data from the Ghana Statistical Service showed that the decrease in the general inflation rate can be attributed to the marginal drop in food inflation. Food inflation in the period was 44.8%, while non-food was 27.7%. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Ini.
Rate of inflation for the month of October 2023 stood at 35.2, which literally means that between October 2022 and October 2023, prices of goods and services went up by 35.2%. This rate of inflation, which signifies the third consecutive slowdown in the rate of inflation, is 2.9 percentage points lower than the rate that was recorded for September 2023, which had a rate of inflation of 38.1%. We disaggregate this rate of inflation from two perspectives: food and non-food inflation, and locally produced items and imported items. Between food and non-food inflation, food inflation was 44.8% for the month of October 2023, relative to 27.7% for non-food inflation for the same time, October 2023. The slowdown in food inflation is sharper, as it decreased by 4.6 percentage points between September 2023 and October 2023, relative to the 1.6 percentage point drop for non-food inflation, as it declined from 29.3% to 27.7% for the month of October 2023. From a locally produced item and in an imported item perspective, we recorded a 2.6 percentage point drop between inflation for imported items and inflation for locally produced items, with inflation for imported items 37.0% and inflation for locally produced items 34.4%. On a month-on-month basis, monthly rate of inflation for October 2023 stood at 0.6%, indicating that prices of goods and services between September 2023 and October 2023 went up by 0.6%. This indicates a 1.3 percentage percentage point drop between the rate that was recorded in September 2023, 1.96%, relative to 0.6% for October 2023.
The Securities and Exchange Commission, in collaboration with the Finance Ministry, are working to set up an investor protection fund for investors. The objective of the fund is to compensate retail investors whose investments are impaired in the event that asset management firms default in meeting admitted claims of investors. Here's Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Daniel Ugbami Tete, speaking on strategies to protect investors. He spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of the Ghana Stock Exchange Annual's Ring the Bell program to mark the local bourse's 33rd anniversary celebration.
The Investor Protection Fund being developed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Finance Ministry can be likened to the Depositors Protection Scheme. According to Reverend Ugbami Tete, the Commission will deepen its financial literacy agenda.
I believe that financial literacy is one of the key things when it comes to participating in the securities industry or the financial sector for that matter. At the SEC, we are embarking on a number of initiatives. So under our capital market master plan, one of the pillars has to do with deepening the investor base. And one of the tools to achieve that is to strengthen the financial literacy campaign. We are approaching it on a number of levels. So there's something we've been doing. We call it Time with the SEC. We're moving from location to location, region to region, targeting groups of people to give them more insights into the securities industry. Because, you know, the securities industry, somehow people do not know much about it. So in our engagement, we are skewed to that. We know the Bank of Ghana, Insurance, NIC, and others are also focusing on their area. So we are focusing on the securities industry, how to get the investing public, including the youth.
Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Abinamwa, maintained that the exchange have also embarked on various initiatives to support liquidity on the market.
We've been engaging a lot with investors. So the pensions industry, for instance, was one sector that we have engaged with and asked to diversify their portfolio. So a lot of the new investors we are seeing onto the market is coming from this sector as well. The technological tools that are out there that allows investors to conveniently trade on the markets from the comfort of their homes, open accounts, trade on the markets, are all initiatives that have supported liquidity on the market. So these are some of the initiatives deploying digital tools or apps like the Trade Live, like Second Stacks, etc., that allows you to open an account and start placing orders and trading. We've also launched the Market Watch app. So if you go on our website today, you can actually see what's happening on the market directly, decide to buy because the price has changed, place an order through to your broker.
The 33rd anniversary celebration is under the theme Resilience and Adaptability, Thriving in Challenging Times.
Still with the Commission, SEC has admitted the evolving capital and investment market is a contributing factor to the proliferation of fraudulent investment schemes. These schemes attract investors, robbing them of their capital and hard-earned resources. Deputy Director General of Finance at the Commission, Dr. Paul Abebio, has disclosed there is an ongoing public education to caution potential investors against fraudulent but enticing schemes. Here's more by Clinton Yeboah.
Ghana's banking and investment sector is seemingly getting infiltrated by unscrupulous individuals who use enticing investment returns as cover to defraud people. The Securities and Exchange Commission has been mandated to regulate and promote the growth of an efficient and transparent securities market in which investors and the integrity of the market are protected. According to Dr. Paul Abebio, there is an ongoing measure to guard against Ponzi schemes.
Well, I think the markets have evolved, and what you noticed was that our exercise occurred around the time of the financial sector cleanup. This is because there's what we call interconnectedness. A crisis in one sector can affect the other. So in 2018, and until then, the regulators were not dialoguing that frequently. So in 2018, we set up what we call a Financial Stability Council, which has all the major financial sector regulators at a table. You have the Bank of Ghana, you have NPRA, you have NIC, you have the GDPC, Ghana Deposit Protection Corporation, and you have FIC and ourselves, the Securities and Exchange Commission. This allows us to coordinate and identify risks that are emerging in the financial sector so that we can take action in a more proactive and a more coordinated way.
He was speaking at the Financial Literacy Conference, designed to educate students on the role of the Securities Exchange Commission in the financial sector, how to identify and detect fraudulent schemes, and make smart financial choices. The over 1,500 participants were also taken through career opportunities in the financial sector. The investment education program, dubbed Time with the SEC, SHS edition, forms part of the 25th anniversary of the Commission. Dr. Abebiu, addressing the theme, deepening and diversifying Ghana's capital markets towards a more resilient financial system, admonished the youth to cultivate habits of making smart economic choices.
SEC launched a 10-year capital market master plan. It's a far-reaching document that hopes to grow the market for it to become a deep, diversified, and well-regulated securities market. Some of the people here in 10 years' time will be 28 years old, 27 years old. They are the future of the market. We expect them to understand these things. When they are starting a business, they can start to think of some of these dynamics. When they have excess funds, they're a bit more careful about investing. And so that's one impact we expect to have.
The Financial Literacy Conference was organized by the Securities and Exchange Commission in partnership with the Young Investors Network. President of Young Investors Network, Joshua Kwe Mensah, also added that
financial literacy is not just about understanding the stock markets or reading financial statements. It's about empowering oneself with knowledge to make informed decisions. It's about understanding the risk and reward, distinguishing between short-term gains and long-term investments, and navigating the complex world of finance with confidence.
Beneficiaries were glad to receive the financial education. Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yabwa.
As we count down to the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, we bring you another exciting story of an indigenous estate development in the Tema metropolis, where one can consider when making a decision on a housing purchase. Known as Agazi Homes, this facility is promising potential customers at the exhibition grounds some hoping discount packages. Let's take you there and hear from Head of Marketing and Sales, Margaret Akoto.
Agazi Homes started with the Tema development and now constructing the new airport facility with more sophisticated features for family living. We took a tour of the Tema development to interact with the Head of Marketing and Sales at Agazi Homes, Margaret Akoto. Take a listen.
This particular estate is our first development. It comprises of 84 homes, 3 and then 4-bedroom houses. All the houses comes en suites, semi-furnished. The kitchens comes fully fitted with appliances. The rooms and the living areas all comes with air conditioners. The property is a gated community, so there is 24 hours security here. We also have estate management facilities available. And I would say the most important thing about Agazi Homes is the fact that we develop affordable homes but do not compromise on the luxury. So if you ask me about the price of our building, you'll be surprised, especially when you come here and then you go into the units to look at it. I get a reaction always when they ask me, how much is that? And I mention the price, they go like...
It ranges from, give us a range.
Okay, so our 3 bedrooms is $150,000. And then $150,000.
Only?
That's all. And then if you actually see the features of the building, you'd be surprised because you would have it selling for over $200,000. But we give it as $150,000 because our aim is to let every middle-income Ghanaian to own a house of themselves. The 4 bedrooms is $180,000. That's all.
She has also been explaining some of the packages available at the event ground for potential customers coming to the exhibition.
Yes, it's our first time coming on board Habitat Fair. We were part of your mini clinics, so we were at the Tema mini clinic. The patronage was extremely good. So, I mean, before that I visited Habitat Fair as, you know, a visitor. Going through the camps, I see the people that
potential homeowner.
Exactly. The people that come there, they are all, it's like a platform where people who are looking to buy properties coming to, and that's our target market, people who will buy properties. So, I mean, it's a good platform, and the fact that you have the media coverage to also support us. So, at the end of the day, it's about making sales. Okay.
So are you offering any special packages to would-be homeowners like me who want to come to Agazi Homes?
Through Habitat Fair, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, we are. So originally, we do move in at 70% when you have made 70%. But for anybody that comes to buy through the Habitat Fair, we are allowing moving at 50%. And then we are also taking 10% initial deposit instead of the 20%. So this is what we are doing for all the buyers that come through Habitat Fair. Aside that, we have, if you want to do a less than 2-year payment plan too, we have a special discount package that we would also sell on the day. So yeah, everybody should come through our stand.
The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair promises to be exciting this year as many potential homeowners and development firms get ready to exhibit the best offers from the 23rd to the 26th of November.
And I hope to see you there. That's how we part company tonight on Prime Business. My name is Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. I leave you with news making waves on the international front.